Welcome, thank you. We're at our December review with Mr. Tim Sisson, and we're getting ready. Part of what we're doing today is getting ready for your favorite of all of our events,
The Christmas party.
the Christmas party.
That's
So
right.
hopefully you've gotten your invite, and if you didn't, this is actually our only exclusive event. Usually we invite everybody, all hands on deck. You can show up and have fun. This one is mostly just for us to show our appreciation.
Yeah.
And that's always been our focal point, is showing appreciation because we have so many people to thank.
Yeah, this Christmas party has been a smashing success last year. if you
Even last
remember.
year.
It was a drive-through
Yep.
event, and I was basically a line chef putting together chicken sandwiches, and it was a lot of fun. But it was good to see people quickly in and out, but hopefully this time people can stay
Yeah.
and hang out and have some beers, do some crafts with the kids and things of that
We're
sort.
open to either. So now you said that, like, where you can stop by and grab and go if you want to still, because we have food truck there, or if you want to sit there and hang out, or you can do a little bit of both. Like, hey, I'm just here while the food's getting ready, and then I'm gonna take it to go.
Yeah, we
fine,
don't
yeah.
mind. There's no such thing as being quote unquote rude, because that's what it's all about. We want to feed you, we want to see you, and then if you want to get on,
It would take a lot to be rude. We're not a very sensitive group.
Not at all.
No, so we're pretty open to it. So there'll be first round of beers on us, and then you got food, and then we're even having an appetizer. And you probably don't know this because I picked this last minute, but there's a dessert coming in at like I think 6:30. She's gonna roll in with desserts. It's gonna be seasonal s'mores.
Okay.
It's gonna be s'mores with a Hershey Kiss and like mint flavor to it. Yeah, yeah.
How many am I allowed to eat?
She said she's like, I'm gonna have enough for 30, but if you need more on the fly, I can make more. So
That sounds incredible.
yeah, so
I love
it'll
it.
be fun.
Yep. See you guys Friday.
This Friday, 18th. Yeah, yep. All right, so that was the fun stuff.
Friday
Now-
at Mully's.
At Mully's,
Yeah,
sorry.
Mully's Brewery.
They know.
Yeah.
And we do Mully's every year just because it's so much easier not to worry about a liquor license and who we give what to.
Well, we
You
have a
just
great
let them handle
relationship
it.
with them too.
And it's
They're
great,
awesome. It's a
yeah.
great space. People are accustomed to it.
And then they decorate
Centrally
it.
located.
They decorate it. It's really nice. They have the lights up and everything. It's such an awesome spot to do it. And they get to do all the work of providing all the booze and stuff too, which is
Yeah.
so much easier for all of us. We can focus on our chicken wings and
S'mores.
soul food and s'mores and stuff like that and chatting and doing stuff. So we'll see you there. If you get the invite. If you didn't come through, if you're like, hey, I know those guys really well and I didn't get my invite, I'll send it to you again. I had like 2 or 3 people on Friday when I did my mailer say, hey, we didn't get the invite. Cool. I resent it to them. Not a problem. They all signed up. So
Yeah.
we're close to 100 again this year. It'll probably be a few more than that, but
I love it.
it's fun.
We'll see you guys on Friday.
So going from fun to funner.
Mortgage stuff.
Mortgage stuff. Funnerist?
Yeah.
Funnerist. So this week, I know December usually, always, it slows down a little bit. People focus on family. They get out and they travel and they do some stuff and they see people and absolutely understand. Like maybe 2 listings and they're both going to close here in the next like week or 2.
Yeah.
It slows down. So what we're going to talk about today is like getting yourself ready to prepare for the 2022 because once everything's done, you get the New Year's resolutions. I'm preparing to get my finances in order. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat better after the Mully's vanilla stuff. We'll eat better later.
Yeah.
All those things start to take place in 2022. So we're going to focus on that here today. What are some things that people can do to get themselves ready to buy that house next year?
I think it's a good idea to schedule a kind of a long-term planning consult with us. So, there's different levels to these consultations that we give, the pre-qualifications and the pre-approvals. And I mean, trust me, there's the, hey, it's Saturday at 3 and I want to submit an offer by 5 and I don't even have your social security number.
Yeah.
All of that is still, something that we do on
Happens.
a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
However, now's kind of that time in the year where everything slows down from a home purchase, real estate, mortgage perspective. And then also people tend to have a little bit more free time. Yes, they have holidays and family to meet, but people are burning PTO the end of the year, use it or lose it leave.
Yep.
People have, maybe some time off between Christmas and New Year's and maybe a couple days afterwards where you might be able to allocate just an hour, 45 minutes or an hour to talk to me about, hey, I really want to buy a house in 2022, or I want to sell my house and I want to upgrade or I want to downsize, all those plans where when you're in the thick of it and the market is just moving like crazy, it's hard to allocate the proper time to it. Now's a good time for it. So you can be a little bit more careful, a little more careful, a little bit more deliberate in how you really plan out next year. So everybody knows that we always pump out the spring market, March, April. People kind of New Year's resolution is to sell a house. maybe they want to get their, some items done for the first couple months.
Yeah.
That gives you the time to do it, but you've already done the mortgage stuff. You said, hey, this is all ready to go. I talked to Tim, and he said, hey, if I pay off this one debt, I'm going to be able to maximize my qualifications and things of that sort. We've already had that conversation. So the focus is there.
Yeah. One of the big ones I get this time of year is people that are interested in building. We get a lot of those because now's the time to kind of get all those ducks in a row, because it's not an easy process. It takes a lot of planning to do that. Yeah. And with wet season happening April-ish, depending on the water table and so forth, now's the time where like you're really open to any lot. It doesn't have to be necessarily perked at the moment. That could be a caveat. It could be a contingency and so forth. So I get a lot of those people, but they usually have to sell, or they have gifts of funds, or they've got inheritance. Like there's a lot of sit-down meeting you still have to have with Tim in order to even get that in a row, to know how much you can afford to get ready for that process, because a construction loan is not as black and white as a regular conventional FHA. There's a little more planning that's involved. That's all.
It can be a little bit more cumbersome when it comes to the construction loan process, and obviously building a house, there's a lot to go on, but that I can help you plan for that as well, that construction loan process. And the one thing that I think about that maybe, I don't know, I'm kind of bring this to your attention a little bit, is I tend to get a lot of people who are fresh out of school that started their first job around this time frame, because they graduated in May, they started a job, there's a couple months after that, and they're like 6 months on the job, and they're like, 2022 is my year to buy a house. So if you're out there and you're fresh out of college, you started your job, you want to buy a house, I'm talking to you, because that's even more important is for you as a first-time home buyer, likely, if you're in that scenario, to sit down with us around this time frame.
Do they still have that college loan forgiveness type programs and stuff?
Yes, Maryland Smart Buy. So it allows you to pay off a lump sum of student loans, and they all have to be gone at closing. And you can pair down payment assistance with that as well. It's a really sharp product. So if you're out there and that's something that appeals to you, we can talk about it.
Yeah, so that means you're coming out fresh, you got a new job, you get a little bit of debt, easy to get rid of, and get a house at the same time. That that's really setting yourself up for success in 2022 and years beyond. If you can get rid of that college debt and get yourself into an asset such as a house, that's definitely a win-win right there.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, some of the data is like 20 to 30% appreciation in home equity. So if you can be one of those people that has some stability, you started that job, you're out of college, you can pay off some student loans, and you can start paying into your home's equity rather than paying rent or staying at home.
It's a good deal.
Hit that wave, because all of the data that we're seeing is that homes are going to continue to appreciate, and rents are going to increase over the coming years as well.
And this is a phrase I usually, with my first-time buyers, I use the phrase, you can't lose money on houses, because they always get worried about getting into a house, overpaying, and then getting stuck. You can't, and I'll explain that. You can't, because if the market's not where you need it to be, just keep living in that house. I mean, that's it. Like, if you just keep living there and keep making the payments, principal and interest, the longer you're in there, the principal payments get more and more substantial, and you're paying that down a little bit faster. Just keep living in the house. And I mean, there's definitely scenarios where like it's getting a little too tight. Maybe you got a couple of kids, things of that nature. But you still, if you live there long enough, you can't lose money. It's impossible.
Yeah, the biggest misnomer is the fact that you get in underwater, and then now what? Really, we're only doing good loans right now. 30-year fixed loans. I mean, some people are doing shorter terms, but they're all fixed rate amortized loans, where that's one of the reasons why we hit that big bubble, is people couldn't refi and things of that sort. So even if there's a market correction, which we don't expect anytime soon, because we talked about that actually on the most recent video, if you haven't seen it. Just like you said, just stay in that property, keep your head down, make your mortgage payments, and eventually you'll hit a point where you can sell or move on to that next
and if you really have to, like you were saying, rents are still going up too. If like you really needed to rent, we can pull that information for you too, and you turn it into a rental if you really need to. There's going to be a certain debt to income that you have to hit in order to make approved for that loan, and you can't use the rent as income for a few months and things of that nature. But that's all meeting with Tim.
I'm glad you brought that up. So the rental portion, even if you're somebody that's planning on renting in 2022, you want to move out of your current situation. Maybe you want to move out of your parents' basement and you want to just go out on your own. And you want to rent for a year, but a home purchase is in, kind of that distant future, 2023 and beyond. let's still meet. Let's still plan that, because it's not just a hey, let's plan 60 days out. Let's plan an entire year out. Let's plan 2 years out, because I mean, you're not wasting my time or your own by digging in and seeing what you can do, what your timeline is, and things of that sort. I think it'll really benefit you. And like I said, now's the time to do it, because things are a little bit slower and people are available.
You can even use some of that rent, I believe, as a way to build your credit, if I were correct.
You can
There's ways to do that.
Self-report utility bills. You can self-report, that kind of thing. But if you rent in a complex, sometimes they'll report it for you. But yes, there are ways to do that.
There's a lot of different strategies that help you get in the right position to build or to own, if that's really your goal for next year. So that's a good conversation. We have one more that you have to. I mean, if you have been following any of the mortgage world at all, every lender in all of Southern Maryland has come out and talked about the idea that the rate, the loan limits are going up.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It was a canned, just another way to touch the people. Everybody posted about it.
Everybody,
if you're in the mortgage world. But, yes, conforming loan limits have increased, which what that means is the amount that you can borrow in a particular county, because it is different from county to county. The amount you can borrow in a conforming loan limit without going into what we call jumbo. So jumbo loans are above the loan limit, where the terms get a whole lot more severe. You have to put 20% down.
Yeah.
Interest rates are different. You have to have reserves and things of that sort. Surprising enough, in Calvert County, the conforming loan limit is now $970.
I think everybody listening to this video should go out and buy a $1 million house. I'm saying you probably should do that.
So
if you can afford it.
You can borrow that amount on a 95% conventional loan, so 5% down almost on a $1 million home.
If you need to, I can run those numbers. I can help him run the numbers for you if you need to buy $1 million house.
It's crazy, but that's what inflation has done. That's what the home values have done. And it is kind of they look at all this data. It's the reason why Calvert's loan limit is higher than some other areas. The conforming loan limit from a countrywide perspective is $583 and $50. I don't know why that is, but $583.
Probably math. Averaging out, probably.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. So that increased as well. So, for example, that's the loan limit in Anne Arundel County, St. Mary's County.
Got it.
For some reason, Calvert, Charles, Prince George's, Montgomery, those counties are, almost $1 million in conforming loan. So it's just more news, something topical to kind of
post
bring
material
up in the video. I think it's it's not as much of a value added proposition as the mortgage planning idea. For
sure.
But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it on the video.
Because most people are still going to be in your USDA conventional FHA for the most part. I'm sure that's the majority of the loans you end up doing.
Yeah, right now we're doing a lot of conventional 5-10% down loans because people have been able to save, and maybe they're making some money off of home sales and things of that sort. But USDA is still, and VAs are still
VAs
really popular products. Of course, if you have a VA capability, you're getting a VA, because there's a lot of reasons why, and we'll dig into that if you ever meet with me. But USDA is still a great program, no money down, great interest rates. So those, we talked about it early on, if you're somebody that's really getting into the market for the first time, that's probably where you're going to, our jump off point. Can you fit into USDA? Do you meet the income requirements and things of that sort? If you can't, you make a little bit more money, you'll probably have enough saved to go conventional anyhow.
And it's funny, a lot of these folks that they're working hard, even first jobs, are making really good income. And so sometimes for them it makes sense to put down 10%, 5%, and you already have a little bit of equity built right into your house. So, and like we said earlier, you can't lose money as long as you keep living there. So,
well, even USDA, if you put no money down, I'll peel back the onion. I did a USDA loan on my first home purchase. Okay. We stayed in it long enough to build some equity, and you sell it and you make some money on it. It's not something that you should be fearful of by putting money down.
No, it's just options.
Because that also allows you to save your assets, to upgrade the property where you see fit.
There you go.
To buy furniture and appliances and things of that sort. But the biggest idea, I think, is put no money down, stay as liquid as possible, and upgrade your home over the coming years. That's where you can really guarantee that you'll have some equity.
Yeah, that's a good. And when we look at houses, obviously we go through those different scenarios. Like, hey, this makes more sense. Or if the house is finished and totally updated, maybe you should go a conventional route. Or hey, this needs a little bit of love. Let's go USDA. Or let's get a little more closing help out of the sellers. Things of that nature still are taking place.
Yeah. I'm seeing closing help. That's something that was unheard of 6 months ago, but I'm seeing a lot of closing help in contracts right now.
Yeah, especially the house needs a little bit. Because there's a lot of sellers that don't want to put the effort into it at the moment. They're like, hey, we lived here for 15 years, and honestly, we just don't want to do it.
Well, the equity
So,
position
that
is a
happens.
big part of that. So, these sellers are going, I've been here for 20 years. We're making $150,000
Yeah,
on this
I'm
house.
not painting.
I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'll
Yeah,
give the
I'm not
buyer
doing
10
it.
grand. 10 off of my 150 is still a great profit for me. So that's a big part of it is
Yep.
these sellers have a lot of equity. They can do closing help,
Yep.
which is great.
And they do it instead because that way you get to pick your colors or designs or whatever you want. Or
Yeah.
And then right after Christmas, note this too, like you start jumping on those yard sales, the Calvary yard sales and things like that right after Christmas. It's it's a great way to furnish your house as a first-time buyer with couches and appliances and things of that nature too. So keep your eyes open for those things.
Yeah.
Those are all options.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. Let's
Call
do it.
us. Let's sit down, and it's not,
Or come to the Christmas party.
come to the Christmas party. We could talk about it. But I mean, the long-term mortgage planning is something that I think we need to get back to as an industry, really, because things have been moving so quickly. Really, the last 2 years, it's like, hey, I'm approved. I want to buy this house. I need to submit an offer because there's 10 other offers.
Yeah.
Now we have some time to just kind of
That's not
chill out
stressful,
a little
right?
bit. Let's plan into the future if you want to buy a house next year or the year after.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So, again, we appreciate your time, sir, today.
Thanks, Billy.
I know you're getting some stuff together, getting ready for the kids and all that stuff for Christmas. And
I'm Santa Claus.
you're Santa Claus?
Don't let your kids watch this. Sorry. Whoops.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids sitting around watching the mortgage updates.
videos?
Yeah, mortgage
You never
updates.
know.
Hey, Mom, can I watch the mortgage update again this with Tim and
You also
Billy?
never know if there's a 31-year-old person out there who still believes in Santa Claus.
So we appreciate your help and time, and as always, reach out because we're here to help. We can answer questions. We're on social media. We're all over the place. If you can't find us on the Google machine, then we're not doing our job. So easy to find us everywhere.
Yeah,
But
looking forward to it. And see you guys Friday. It'll be a great time, as it is every year.
it is. All right, so thank you. We'll see you there. Probably see you there.
Yep.
And we'll see you again in January.
See you guys.